Welcome to Vacation Station, hosted by Lisa and Nancy, editors of BigBlendMagazines.com.
Hey everybody, welcome to Big Blend Radio Spring Travel Showcase, and today we're going to beautiful Tulare County in Central California's Sequoia country, and Nancy and I are very excited, and Priscilla,
Yeah.
our pink sock monkey travel mascot, she's jumping up and down right now because
She is.
we're going to be returning there in spring, in April, mid to end April. We'll be there as part of our Love Your Parks tour. So we're going to get to visit Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Parks, Giant Sequoia National Monument, and Sequoia National Forest. And of course, the area's awesome communities, a lot of them with charming and historic downtowns with murals and public art. There's also art communities like Three Rivers is an art community right outside the parks. There's Visalia, there's Exeter, Tulare, Porterville, Dinuba, Woodlake. I mean, these communities, you definitely want to visit them when you visit the parks and forests. And all of this is just east of Fresno. It's about a 4 to 5 hour drive from the Bay Area, about 3 to 4 hours from LA. So for spring, I mean, it's also agricultural. So you're going to see all the orchards all in bloom, the citrus orchard, the nut trees all in bloom. It's just a great time for wildflowers as well. So I encourage you to go to the Sequoia Tourism Council website. It is discoverthesequoias.com. And you can also follow our adventures. We've been going there since, oh my gosh, I can't even think about how long we've been covering this area. Yeah, I'm getting old. You can go to nationalparkstraveling.com to check out all of our stories and coverage we've done so far and what's coming up. So the Sequoia Tourism Council is awesome. They basically showcase the region and all the different communities, and we have some of our friends joining us from there. We're going to start with Sintia Kawasaki. She is from Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Parks, and you can go to their website. It is nps.gov/SEKI. Always a good thing to do before you head into the parks, because sometimes it snows, sometimes there's some kind of alert, so check that out. So welcome back, Sintia. How are you doing?
Thank you, Lisa. Thanks for having us.
Hey, we're excited. So it's springtime. Well, it's almost springtime. Today, Nancy and I are right outside, in fact, looking out at Joshua Tree National Park. So we're not that far, and we're in your national park district world. You know what I mean? And so we're excited to go from high desert, where we have the iconic Joshua trees. And I just learned they're not a cactus. I always thought they were a cactus. So go figure. I learned today, the other day, these are actually part of the yucca and agave plants. So we can't make tequila in the park, but it's neat to go from these iconic, plants, the ancient Joshua trees, up to the amazing and also ancient sequoia trees. And because that's another icon when you think about plants. And they're the world's largest living thing, right?
That's right. Yeah. Our General Sherman tree is the largest living thing on Earth, which is, our number one treasure in the parks.
And it's by volume. So there's a difference. So the coastal redwoods are tall. They're the tallest, right?
Yep. We're not the tallest. It's just by volume.
Yeah, because we have to try and fit our hands around and hug a giant sequoia trees. We need unity to do that. We need a lot of people to gather around those trees to do a proper hug. But so you've got Sequoia, Kings Canyon, springtime. When you think about March, April, May, is there possibilities of getting snow still?
Yes, actually, in 2019, we got a nice little winter snowstorm in May. So you just never know if, the snow is melting, with warmer weather in early spring, and then all of a sudden you could have a snowstorm come through in May. So you just never know. It's weather, and the Sierra is, sometimes unpredictable and can be a lot different up at higher elevations versus down in the valley. So definitely planning ahead and checking that website that you mentioned and calling for road conditions is definitely important, because you don't think that it's going to be as cold and snowy or rainy up above when you're down in nice, balmy, warm weather in the valley.
Right. And so when you think about the wildflower season, it's really starts in the foothills, right? So like the Three Rivers area, and even around, the Kawasaki-Yee Lake and that area, that's really where you start to see the wildflowers in the early spring.
That's right. Yeah, but it takes a little bit longer up at higher elevations just because of snow. It takes a little bit for the snow to melt out and spring to head up there. But it just means that we have a prolonged spring season where you can enjoy wildflowers for a little bit longer here in the parks because of the elevation range.
And so that's the foothills. And so that's kind of as you enter the park. And Nancy and I, other than going horse riding with Christy Wood out in Three Rivers, we've never actually done any of the trails in the foothills. So we may need to do that this time around.
Yes. Springtime is definitely the best time to enjoy. When we have cooler weather, we don't have the really, really hot weather coming in early spring. So we have Marble Falls Trail, which is really one of our popular ones. We have Paradise Creek Trail. We have some really nice trails that, where you can enjoy some wildflowers. You can, enjoy some river views. Just, not a lot of people spend a lot of time here in the foothills. They just want to drive straight up to go see those giant sequoias, but we really recommend spending a little bit more time here exploring near Hospital Rock. We have some rock paintings and exhibits about our California Native Americans who lived here. There's a lot of good, interesting features here in the foothills to enjoy.
And then you have Kings Canyon too. So General Sherman Tree, people do a trek there every year, in the holiday season, because it's also
General Grant Tree.
General Grant, excuse me, a General Grant Tree. That's always open. But then it's where Zumwalt Meadow area. I know you closed that area because of the snowfall, and that also leads out to the wilderness areas in Kings Canyon. But when do you think that kind of opens up?
That opens around Memorial Day weekend. So,
okay.
Yep, right about Memorial Day weekend, you can come out and start enjoying Cedar Grove, which is, also another
Beautiful.
Gorgeous part of our parks. The canyon just is spectacular.
And you got waterfalls out there, as I remember.
Yeah.
We do, and depending on the snow melt, is what we depend on for those gorgeous, flowing rivers and the big waterfalls. We definitely had rushing waterfalls pretty late in the season this last summer because we had a really healthy snowpack. This year, we're not looking so good, so we'll see if we can get some last-minute snow this spring.
I'll make that call.
Yes.
That'd be great. Thank you. We're at about 50% right now, which is a little scary.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
Maybe Priscilla can get through quicker for us,
Yeah, she can try.
She's the travel mascot, she
says she's got connections.
And she can entertain as well. I want to bring Gary Rogers on. I know he's got a limited time with us today, but Gary is from the Sequoia Parks Conservancy, an amazing organization that really supports parks and has really great programs, even like snowshoeing and hiking and teaching you about the history of both parks. And of course, the forest is all connected there. We've got Denise coming on too from the Sequoia National Forest and Giant Sequoia National Monument. I encourage you to go to sequoiaparksconservancy.org. And apparently they've got an awesome new program that Nancy and I get to check out a bit. They customize your trip with you. So Gary, welcome back. How are you?
Okay, great. Thanks, Lisa. Thanks, Nancy. We're really excited to launch kind of our revised and revamped custom adventure program for 2020. We've been listening to a lot of what people are interested in, what they wish they could have more of, and so this year we have a system where you can go to our website to the custom adventures link, and you can choose the things that you're most interested in seeing, how many days you'd like to be out, and then we will put together a custom tour and try to hit as many of those things as possible. And so, for example, that could be just a day hike with a naturalist who can take you through some other parts of the giant forest that maybe aren't seen that much. Or this could be, a 2 or 3 day backpacking trip. Maybe you want to get a group of friends together, or you've always wanted to backpack, but it's a little, overwhelming, or you're not quite sure. We can take you out, and our guides are first aid certified. They carry an MPS radio for safety, and we can really take you to the places where you'd like to go and see the things that you're most interested in doing. So we're really excited to launch that.
That's
cool.
Yeah. And being able to go with someone who tells you what plant you're looking at and like the difference. I always talk about this on shows about the difference between the pine cones. I remember Denise, you showing us those tiny tiny pine cones, tiny cones that come from the sequoia tree. They're little bitty versus here comes the sugar pine cone that's giant, and it's a smaller tree than this, the sequoia. So those kind of things just stick in you and your mind, and you just have this healthy respect of where you are, because you're not going to see these giant sequoias in the wild anywhere else, right, Gary? So this is your special moment.
Yeah, they're only in California, and 70 so groves, and some of the nicest ones we think are in Sequoia and Kings Canyon. So
yeah,
we're excited to take people out this year, and hopefully we'll get to take you guys out as well.
Yeah, I know. We're looking
Cool.
forward to that. And
Yeah.
meadows. Okay, so the first thing I saw, of course, when I went through and I was looking at you've got snowshoeing, you've got everything on there. You're taking people to General Sherman, Morrow Rock, but meadows. I have to bring that up because I get giddy about that. But
you can
that,
tour all
ahead.
the meadows of the giant forest if you like.
Okay.
Wow.
How many?
Ooh.
Yeah, because there's crescent meadow, there's round meadow, right? And then so when you go around there, if you've got a naturalist, you're going to start to learn the web of life, really, with what's going on in those meadows.
They will tell you as much or as little as you would like to hear.
Okay, so it's like, okay, we don't want any more facts.
Okay.
Now. No more facts. Okay.
If you want a quiet hike, we'll let you do that as well.
And then teach us about bears and things like that, because I wonder about people getting out on a backpacking trip or going out on a hike, not knowing the area, that benefit of having someone with you, just to make sure, that fear factor.
That's a huge benefit. It's intimidating, and I think a lot of people, it's interesting, it's different than car camping. It's a little more exciting, but it's you have to be safe and realistic, and just having someone there to kind of guide you and show you how to do it safely is a great way to do a first trip. Or even, if you want to just learn a little bit more than just hike through, the backcountry or something, and you can learn a little bit of history about the area and the people, and as well as the things that are living and growing there.
Nancy, you had that idea, a few years back on a visit. You wanted to do this whole thing about all the trees named after people. Remember that?
Yeah.
You wanted to do like the ghosts of the forest thing.
Yeah,
So,
well, it's interesting, and it's actually, that would make a nice map, Lisa.
oh, here we
Trees
go
with
again.
names.
We're addicted to putting maps up on our park site, and
Yeah.
that's, I know in the forest you have ones. I remember there was an Armstrong. There's all these different names of the trees. So is that something we can get help with, like learning about why Clara Barton has a tree there and that kind of thing?
Sure, absolutely. And actually, the Conservancy sells a map of the giant forest that has, I believe it has all of the named sequoias on that map. And of course, the naturalists know those trees as well and would be happy to take you to specific ones, or point out some of the more famous ones or some of the more overlooked ones.
Cool.
One thing too, I know a lot of our audience are avid bird watchers, and in spring in the sequoias, is that still part of the migration period in that area? And is that a destination for them?
I am not an expert birder, but I do know that we had the Christmas bird count at the end of the year last year, and they do look throughout the park's foothills up into the giant forest and beyond. So there's always some interesting species of birds there, but I can't really speak to the migration patterns.
Okay. And then, so everyone, again, Sequoia Parks Conservancy.org is a site to go to and to learn about these customized adventures. But you also do you still do the regular programs that you have? Like, I know there's different walks in the giant forest, or have you gone completely more on the customized part of it?
We've shifted over to the custom tours. We still operate the Crystal Cave, which is one of our, our most famous kind of tours that we run there, and that will be open this season a little bit longer this year. It's also on our website. And I'll also mention this is the Conservancy's 80th anniversary.
Oh, cool.
And we have some really special activities planned for later in the year. And if you're interested in joining us or taking part in that, please follow us on social media, and subscribe to our newsletter, and we'll keep you informed on all the fun stuff going down this year.
And this is something to, I mean, 80 years, that's commendable. Now I don't feel as old as I was feeling at the beginning of the segment. but I was just thinking, 80 years, that's amazing. And really the Conservancy is set up and all these adventures, and, you know, like I know you take people up Morrow Rock, which is an iconic adventure in itself. And do you do Mineral King at all?
We will do custom adventures in Mineral King, yes, as soon as the road has opened and it's cleared.
Okay, so that's another unique thing, and you can see
That's
marmots
an
out there.
amazing place.
We have never
If you
done
want
Mineral
to see
King.
the backcountry, that's one of the best places to do a trip in, and it's relatively easy to get to.
I heard that you have to like protect your car from the marmots.
If you leave your car there too long, the marmots will like to chew on your cables and stuff and your wires, but
Yeah.
we'll wrap your car up, don't worry.
Oh, okay. See, this is a whole new experience. And hey, you know, you're out in nature, so this is what happens. But going back to the Conservancy, everything that you do helps fund the park, right? Helps support Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Parks.
Yes, you know, our mission is to provide access to all of the park's resources. We fund a lot of park programming, and all of our funds that we raise go into running our organization and giving back to the park. We've had a great success with some grant programs this year, raising money for habitat restoration and species restoration, and the fire teams in the park too. So we do a lot, and we welcome anyone to come learn more about us.
Yeah, because I was reading about doing things with frogs. Didn't you do something?
Yes.
Yeah, well, they're important.
Yeah,
Frogs
they
and
are.
salamanders, aren't they really crucial to what's going on in the waterways and the health of the waterways? So
Yeah, I mean, every species plays its part in keeping that balance, and so, you know, to be losing a species like the frogs, the mountain yellow-legged frogs, you know, that's something that the park takes very seriously, and they've been working on restoring that population for many years, and we're excited. We got some big grants this year to help support those efforts.
Awesome. Awesome. So
Cool.
again, everyone, the website is sequoiaparksconservancy.org. Thank you so much for joining us, Gary.
Thank you so much, Big Blend.
Well, we'll see you soon.
Take care.
Yay.
See you
Yay.
soon. Yep.
Yeah, we'll see you out in nature. And I want to continue talking about the parks and forests. Denise Alonzo is here from the Sequoia National Forest, and I encourage you to go to their website as well. It's fs.usda.gov/Sequoia. You can just type it in Google. It comes up. It's up on our site as well. But Denise, welcome back. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing wonderful.
Hey, I know
Good.
you're a forest tour guide, and you were the one who was teaching us about the different, you know, pine cones and versus it's you can't say sequoia is a pine cone. It's a sequoia cone, right?
Correct. Yes. Those big pine cones that you find on sugar pine trees.
Mhm.
Those are the great big ones, and people think those come from giant sequoias, but it's alternate. It's the little teeny tiny ones that actually sequoias produce, and those tiny seeds within those tiny cones can produce that huge tree. It's pretty impressive.
When it comes to spring, I remember it was early summer that we went to on the Trail of the 100 Giants. And what would you say about for spring for folks to get out and see the giant trees? When does it kind of open and easy to access the forest?
Well, typically Tulare County will open the roads once the threat of snowfall is gone, and that could be different times depending on the weather year. This year, as you've already heard, we're very dry. However, I don't expect Tulare County to be opening the road to Trail of 100 Giants until mid-April to perhaps even mid-May, just because there is still a threat of snow. And of course, we do want some more snow so that we can have enough water to last through the summer.
And at the same time, like when we're in Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Parks, we are still also able to touch into the forest. We don't even really realize it half the time, but places like Hume Lake, that's the forest area, right?
That is correct. As a matter of fact, Kings Canyon is very much in the forest area. We intertwine with the Kings Canyon side of the national parks on the Hume Lake Ranger District up Highway 180. We adventure down the Kings Canyon, through the forest, and back into the park at Cedar Grove. So we are really intertwined on that district.
Neat. And so spring wildflowers, everyone, think about, and Hume Lake. I loved it out there because
that's beautiful.
remember our picnic, Nancy, when we watched all the ducks?
Yeah, that's a great place.
The ducks and the blue jays and the just all the woodpecker. I can't wait to hear forest birds. We've been in the desert. We haven't been hearing forest birds, and I need to hear them. Like they're like little, they yell at you. They're loud monkeys in the trees, and so we can't wait to hear them. One thing, Denise, I wanted to touch on. Spring is a good time to also look at planning summer. When your summer vacations and things. So when you look at the forest, you do have like cabin rentals and camping, right? And also like people can stay in those watchtower thingies.
Yeah, we do have one of our lookout towers has been changed out to a rental. So the Oak Flat Lookout down in the Kern River District is available to rent as a overnight rental.
Wow, that's cool.
How much fun.
And
yeah.
Many of our cabins and all of our campgrounds are under a concessionaire, so you can look at making your reservations 6 months in advance. So now is definitely a good time to start looking at your summer travel plans. Recreation.gov is the website. And if you want to make a reservation, just do a little research on our forest website prior to going online on that recreation.gov website to make sure that you line up the name of the campground with the one that you're going to on the Sequoia, because some campgrounds, such as Wishon Campground, have locations both on the Sierra National Forest and the Sequoia National Forest. So it can be quite confusing unless you do a little research prior to your trip planning.
Okay.
Good tip. That's a good tip.
Sintia, you also have camping up in the parks, right? For folks.
We do, and we're also on recreation.gov, also 6 months in advance. So people have already been making their camping reservations, but if you want to get in there before the end of summer, now is definitely a good time to start planning for that.
See, I know my travel planning here.
Yes, start early.
Like you've done this before.
Well, this is something important. We go in the parks and the forest, and really, I always say, Nancy, go to the towns as well. They've got hotels, bed and breakfasts, and also it's really the stories of the forest and the parks are connected with the people in the communities. And so we've got Donnette Silva Carter joining us from Tulare Chamber of Commerce and Suzanne Bianco from Visit Visalia joining us. So Donnette, how are you?
I'm doing great, and it's so good to be back on Big Blend and to talk about what's happening in the Sequoia region.
Oh, we can't
Hope you
wait.
ladies are doing well.
We're doing well. We're excited. We're not that far. We're in California today. I was just saying, it's like we're on a Californication now. Everyone, TulareChamber.org is a website to connect with everything Donnette's going to talk about for her region. But Donnette, you just had the tractors moved in, didn't they?
They absolutely did. We are home to the World Ag Expo, and it's the largest agricultural exposition of its type. And we had over 100,000 guests into our community. Our community is only 67,000, so there were a lot of people here for a 3-day period of time, and it was fantastic. We actually operate the International Business Center, so we had an opportunity to engage with people from over 40 countries who visited that center, and just a wonderful experience. We also had a visitor tourism booth there to welcome guests to the area. That was done through Sequoia Tourism Council, and we distribute a lot of our visitor guides for Discover the Sequoias. So we hope to see people back in the area, and of course we wanted them to, make the most out of their visit while they were here. There are so many things to do in this entire region, and in our community too. We really get that opportunity to showcase Tulare during the event.
And as talking about agriculture, spring is like really one of the coolest, amazing times to come through, because I know the nut orchards kind of start like February, March, and then April, May, you start having all the citrus bloom in the area.
You know, we were just driving around the other day, and there are so many beautiful blooming trees right now.
Oh,
So it is
wow.
just gorgeous, and it will continue, you know, over the next few months. And you know, in some parts of our region, you will definitely experience that fragrance of citrus as you're
Mm.
driving through the communities. So
Hmm.
if you like that open land, and I love it myself, and you just like to see the different crops that are happening within our area, it's a great time to come and visit. So there are just so many things to do here. So you really can experience agriculture. You can visit, you know, all of the different fruit and vegetable stands that we have throughout the Tulare County area, and you know, just get your stuff fresh, you know,
Mm.
right there. So that
Right from the
opportunity to
go
go in
Hmm.
right
Yeah.
there from the farm, literally. And some of them are, you know, at farms. They, you know, that they have some of the stands, and others are just corner stands that are just, you know, throughout the area. And then of course we have farmers markets in many of the communities as well. So a chance to, you know, get your product right there. And there are a variety of restaurants that really focus on farm to table. So you have that chance to get that farm fresh food right there in that restaurant when you're visiting our area. So that
And
just,
and
you know,
fresh
great
brews.
place to be.
Fresh brews.
Fresh
Let's
brews.
I know
Yeah, we
the
have some fresh brew. We have that as well. Yeah, we love we have Kauai brewing here in our community, and we have some other things, you know, that are going to be adding to our area, and so it's a fun time to come in. And some of these breweries, you know, some have restaurants with them, some are just in little pockets of space that you wouldn't anticipate that you're going to find, you know, a
Mm.
brewery, but it makes that even more fun as far as I'm concerned. Those places get really
Hmm.
busy, and it's just a great experience to go and visit them, and you know, meet new friends too. That's definitely something if you're traveling into an area. I don't know about most folks. I know I really enjoy finding out what's happening in the local scene of a community, and you know, meeting new people when you're going into the
Mhm.
various different places within that community. And definitely if you're going to a brewery, or if you're, you know, going to go have some wine someplace, you're definitely going to find those folks waiting for you to chit chat and find
Yeah.
out what's happening there. So, and that's another thing too that we should probably mention when you come into communities, and especially, you know, I know with Tulare, this is definitely the entree to the season of community events. And we have major events, but there are also just the nonprofit entities within our community. You can have so much fun going to various different kinds of activities. We have our Leadership Tulare program in April. We'll be having a dueling pianos event, which is so much fun. There's also a silent auction, and there are those kinds of different events, comedy shows in our communities. You know, just different kinds of things that you could do: food and wine tasting, brew tasting. I mean, so much to do in a community. You just, you know, for us, go on to discoverthesequoias.com. Through there, you can also link to the various different chambers and their websites, and to visit Visalia. So you're going to find information on those local events.
Hmm. I know there's a lot of events. I know like Porterville has an Iris Festival. I know Exeter is getting ready for all
Yeah,
their garden parties and brew parties, and so there's something in all, and there's art in Three Rivers, and you know there's all these really cool events. I wanted to say hi to Suzanne over at Visit Visalia, because I know Visalia gets. Do you guys still do your big St. Patrick's Day parties and waiters, isn't it a waiters race or something? I don't know if you're still doing that.
Not the waiters races, but the St. Patrick's Day for sure. There's a St. Patrick's Day parade down Main Street that sort of ends at one of our top restaurants. So they have some cocktails and things for the afternoon. And then there is an Irish festival at the Rawhide Baseball Stadium. So a fun event there with lots of, I'm sure, green beers and foods and all
Parties.
sorts of fun activities.
Back to that
Yeah,
beer
big time.
again. Back to that
Yeah, I know,
beer.
right?
So I know that the Fox Theater just also celebrated an anniversary this year too. Was it the end of last year?
Yeah, end of this month.
Oh, so
Yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah,
getting up there, because that's been a historic icon for the whole county for so many years.
yeah. It is. It's definitely the focal point of our downtown. You can see the tower from a lot of places around town, so it is definitely a landmark for us. So excited to be celebrating with them.
And I was going to touch base. Don't you also have in the spring, because in regards to Tulare County, is very much an art destination as well. There's music and concerts and art shows and galleries throughout the region. Isn't there like a spring studio tour that happens throughout the foothills?
There is. Spring is a very busy time around our valley. We, of course, embrace our spring. We were talking about the wildflower tours or drives and things like that. If you're heading up into Kings Canyon, if you head up Plaza Drive, you could get in a great blossom tour on your way into the park. If you're down in the Porterville area, through Merton Valley is a beautiful springtime drive with wildflowers and whatnot. So great time of year. We do have the South Valley Art Tour March 28th. So that's a great opportunity for people that are interested in art to sort of travel around to each of our communities and meet with artists and see their work and really touch base with that creative group.
Cool. And go to museums too. The history is also a really big deal going around. And one thing I love about the region is all the public art that you have too. Suzanne, and Donnette, this is something to touch on. We were talking about camping and cabins that you can get in the parks and the forests, but Visalia and Tulare, I think you're the two that have so many hotel rooms. How many rooms do you think you have in Visalia, Suzanne, for the region?
Oh, there's over 1,300 rooms. Not hotels, but rooms. Yeah,
that's a lot.
16 hotels. We're anxiously awaiting. We have a new boutique hotel opening up that was a renovation of an Art Deco building that had sort of fallen into disrepair, and a local group has taken that project on, and they're converting it back into the beautiful property that it once was in this Art Deco flair, and it'll be a boutique hotel with a rooftop dining and overlooking the Sierra Nevada. So it'll be a hot property, great property that we're looking forward to opening soon.
Oh wow! When do you think? Like summer or fall?
Well, word on the street is maybe May. So we're crossing our fingers, hoping that all things go well and that they can open up by May. By the summertime would be great. Yeah.
Oh, maybe Nancy and I can take a sneak peek and show it to y'all, everybody.
That would be great. Well, add that to the list of things that we can show you.
Oh my God, this list it's not, I mean, it's starting to look like the big giant, paper towel roll of things to do.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I know Tulare
Well, just
County,
the events alone that you guys will be going to when you make your visit. I mean, there are so many things happening in the month of April. It's so exciting. You had mentioned the Iris Festival. We have the Antique Farm Equipment Show here in Tulare. There's the Jazz Festival up in Three Rivers. We have the Woodlake Rodeo, the Springville Rodeo, and I'm sure I'm probably missing a few things in between there.
The Downtown Wine Walk in Visalia. The Rawhide AAA Baseball opening day is April 9th, where they're going to defend their California League championship, so that'll be exciting. We have Senior Games will be here in the end of March, so that's really great to see so many active people competing in a sanctioned Senior Games event. So those are, of course, we have craft beer festivals too.
Wow.
A lot happening. And then come May, we have the start of our, really the high season for the parks. And I wanted to mention that something that is very useful to a lot of visitors is the Sequoia shuttle. I'm not sure if you girls know about this, but the Sequoia shuttle is a shuttle service that picks up at most hotels in Visalia, in Exeter, up in Three Rivers, and it takes folks up into the park. Your park admission is included in your shuttle cost, so it's a great value. You don't have to worry about driving or parking your car in the busy season. So that's really such a great tool for visitors. They'll be starting to take reservations on that system soon. Visalia is offering a program right now. We have a little promotion happening to try and encourage visitors to use the shuttle. If you stay in Visalia for 2 nights, we will give you 2 free shuttle passes. So that'll include your trip into the park. So it's a great opportunity for folks to get into the park. If you're a little worried about driving mountain roads or whatever, let the shuttle do the driving for you. Picks you right up at your hotel and for the trip into the park. And then visitors in the park can just use the free in-park shuttle to get to all the top sites. So that's really exciting. That starts running in end of May through the summer. So it's a great opportunity for visitors to
I love that.
to take.
And I think a lot of parks are going that way because it does balance out the emissions in a park. It balances out the traffic in the park. It's really good. Everything we can do as
Absolutely.
visitors to, mitigate our footprint in parks and public lands. I mean, all public lands. Every park matters, right?
Absolutely.
And
Well, and you want to
the
spend your
better.
time looking at the park. You don't want to spend your time driving around a parking lot looking for a parking spot.
Not
So
mountain passes, okay? Seriously? No. I don't want to do the mountain
yeah, right.
passes. I'll let the bus driver do it. And you can see things and you learn things, you connect with people again, so that makes that part of the experience. I will tell you that Priscilla had a
Absolutely.
driving lesson on the shuttle bus, and she learned a whole bunch more safety skills. So I just want to say these shuttles are really cool. I saw so many people get out, and isn't this true, Cynthia? It's so easy. Like even at the giant forest, you get out, you're at a visitor center, you learn about the trees, and there's so many trails and experiences you can take right from there. So it's really cool. You don't have to,
Absolutely.
Definitely. Yep.
you don't have to drive everywhere. And I do. Tulare, how many rooms do you have now? Do you think, Donnette? You've got a lot
We're
of
somewhere
hotels.
around 800 rooms, so
Wow.
quite a few. And there are a lot of different, types of stays available in the area. And, again, just, so much to do when you're here too. I would, of course, be remiss if I didn't mention, you need to make a visit to the Tulare Outlet Center if you're a shopper type
Shopping.
of
She has to bring
person.
up
Yes.
shopping. I was waiting.
I know
Patiently.
there is so much shopping to do here in our community between boutique shopping and the outlets, and then throughout all of our communities in the region, you're going to find all kinds of shopping, from antique shopping to the cute boutique shopping, just a variety of different types of shops that we have available. So fun times to be had definitely when you come into the Sequoia region.
So in closing, I want to know from each of you, one thing is a must-do in spring in the Sequoias that we haven't touched on, because again, that list is really huge. And again, everyone, discoverthesequoias.com has everything, all the different communities you can connect to, so you can get all the list of events, because if we gave all the event dates, we'll be still on here all day long into wine time. So there's a lot going on, like they were saying, but let's start with you, Suzanne. One thing in spring that you must do.
I would say the one thing to do in spring is to go to a baseball game. I thought it's always a great way to start the summer. That's what I would choose.
Okay,
And can I pop in real quick and just also say that the Sequoia Tourism Council will be at the Travel and Adventure Show in the Bay Area in Santa Clara on March 21st and 22nd. So if any of your listeners are in the area, then pop by our booth and say hello. We'd love to see you.
Yeah, and you can load up on brochures, and you've got that wonderful guide as well. So that's a really good opportunity to get some help in planning your visit. So Donnette, what are you going to do for spring? One thing.
One
than
thing?
shopping?
Oh
Oh
my
my
gosh.
gosh.
Yeah, I
She's
know.
got
There's
20
so one
stores
thing
she's
other
going
than
to.
shopping. So
Yeah.
me, it's going to be shopping, events, the theater, and checking out one or more of the different eateries here in our community. I mean, there are so many unique places to go and have wonderful eating experiences. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to be out and about, soaking it all in.
Right on. Denise, what about you?
I'm going to go fishing, and I hope everybody comes to join me, because Hume Lake is a great place to go fishing if you just like to hang out and throw a hook and a bobber into the water and just sit there and enjoy the scenery around the lake. Or you can go to a more adventurous section along the Tulare River, the Kings River, or the big mighty Kern.
What kind of fish should people expect?
Trout.
Right.
Most people catch trout in our rivers, and then bass in our lakes. And it's a great place to go fishing in the spring once the weather warms up a little bit and the water is hopefully filling up the lakes as it drains out of the mountains as we speak. And once we get a little bit more snow, we can fill all the reservoirs.
Excellent. Yes, we want more snow. That's it. We'll do a snow dance, out here. Yeah,
that would help us.
We'll do a snow dance. Cynthia, over in the Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Park, what's your one thing for spring, the must-do?
They must come to the parks this time of year because it's a lot less busier than the middle of summer, Memorial Day through Labor Day. So definitely come enjoy the parks while there's still space and parking and, the ability to enjoy the park in a quieter setting. Definitely a good time of year. And on May 2nd, we have our Go Native event, and it's also a fee-free day. So if you want a free day to come to the parks and enjoy them for free, it's Saturday, May 2nd, and we have an event here in the foothills that day celebrating our Native Americans and
That's
the
awesome.
history.
Awesome. You've got some great history over there too. So, and everyone, again, you can go to discoverthesequoias.com. Don't forget, April is Parks Week as well. So it's also a good time to get out into your parks. So again, for the Sequoia Kings Canyon National Parks, go to nps.gov/SEKI. For the Sequoia Parks Conservancy, it's sequoiaparksconservancy.org. It is fs.usda.gov/Sequoia for the forest. For Tulare, go to tularechamber.org, and for Visalia, visit visalia.com. We want to thank you all for joining us today. We're going to close with some great music. It's called Hey, Hey, California from Everett Coast. Keep up with us at bigblendradio.com. Thanks, everybody.
I'm hoping you know how far I would go for your love. You think you've seen it all before. I'm gonna show you that I can't outgrow you, darling. You leave me wanting more. But now I'm far away in East Tennessee. I just need another drink in front of me. It's been a long damn ride across the country, and it'll be a long damn time till I come home. I'm plucking petals off of flowers. It's been 8 months, 3 days, 2 hours. Every moment I miss you more. But baby, when I get home, I know we'll pick up where we left off. And this show I'm living in will come to a close till I'm back out on the road. But now I'm far away in East Tennessee. I just need another drink in front of me. It's been a long damn ride across the country, and it'll be a long damn time till I come home. On the horizon, only one thing on my mind as I sing, hey, hey, California. Counting county lines and street signs, anything to pass the time as I sing, hey, hey, California. Hey, hey, California.